Y'all left Parmita to be like, no, actually, you deserve better. And to stand 10 toes down and say, I'm voting for you because that shit was a hot mess. And not Corbin getting up there to say, you lost all respect, dog. And your homegirls over here like, he has the best intentions. No, he does not. Welcome back in, everyone. This is Black Girls Talking TV, where we bring the group chat to life and discuss all your favorite TV shows. Today is all about Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 27, the most boring episode ever. And it was too damn long, if you ask me, especially when a bitch is on vacation, okay? We are here today, y'all. We're back, the dynamic duo that you love. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that description button and get your t-shirt. We would love your support. We have shirts that say watching Love Island like it's my full-time job. I am Victoria. I am one of your hosts, and I'm a psychologist.
And I'm Kamaria. I'm an attorney and a pop culture writer. And before we get into this episode, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell and hype us up. Be in the comments and let us know. I mean, look, we got to make our own goodness from this episode because like you said, it was boring. It was like, this was entirely too long for what we already knew was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, we all knew that them two was going home. We all knew he was going to pick Amora. Like, what?
Yeah, no, for real. They and you know, usually during recouplings and stuff, it moves a little slower. So they did try to pick up the pace. It was like, Carl, who you picking? Sincere, who you picking? KC, who you picking? Like, it did go by fast. It wasn't as much like dry space in between because it was so obvious. But I was just like, I think they tried to up the drama factor by giving us a recoupling, a dump, and like a vote all in one. And then, you know, we're leading into now a public vote. But yeah, today's episode was like, it was exhausting to watch. I do have thoughts though about yesterday's episode, movie night part 2. So I do want to give my brief conclusions on that. But before we do that, let's talk about this vote. Who you voting for?
I think I might vote for Anaya and Carl. I like Trinity and I want her to win, but like, they did say the most compatible. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
This ain't a literal vote. This ain't a literal vote. It's who you want to be safe, you know, at the end of the day.
That's funny.
Granted, I do feel like the bottom of this, like no matter how we spin it, is going to be Kenzie and Dylan. And possibly Corbin and Parmita. I feel like they're the bottom. So I feel like the rest of them, however we vote, it don't really matter. I feel like everybody else has enough fans. I think nobody is rooting for Corbin and Parmita, and nobody is rooting for Kenzie at this point. I think there's some people who like Dylan, but nobody's going to be trying to keep Dylan around for the, you know what I'm saying? Like, and risk having Kenzie on the screen. So I feel like this vote is not as, it ain't got that much pressure behind it, for real.
No pressure. Okay, maybe I'm overthinking it, you know. But anywho, all right. So tell us what your thoughts on yesterday, since you weren't here.
Yes. One, I said Sincere is a bigger villain than KC, and might I add, I think in this episode it showed. It showed last night. One, Sincere asked, why the fuck did he have Melanie sleeping outside? After the guy said, if Melanie goes outside, you should go outside and give her the bed. I know, of course, we don't know if that was a conversation that was actually had, and maybe Melanie was like, no, I'm going to go outside. But I feel like if it was, they would have given us that, and we didn't get it. So I'm going to assume it didn't happen, and his ass should have been outside.
And he could have gone outside and been like, well, if you're going to be outside, I might be outside then, okay?
Correct.
And she could have forced her to be back inside, because I'm not doing that. You have the bed, and like, just really give it to her. But he whack.
Correct. Second, Melanie should have saw that damn owl as a motherfucking sign, okay? Like, what's her name? Saw the damn butterfly that was probably a moth, Amora. I was like, Melanie, the owl is a sign. That's an actual sign. So let's take that one as a sign. My third thought is on KC. KC, I said in the last episode that I was here, I said, I do have faith that he is going to see himself because of the way he responded, and he did most definitely see himself. Now, what I think is coming for Casey, and I could be wrong, this might be a slight stretch, but I feel like because he saw himself so clearly and was like, you know what, this actually was disrespectful, which side note on that, everything that we've been saying was disrespectful, he called out and said was disrespectful. So it's like, if you were defending it and wasn't finding it disrespectful, Casey found it disrespectful. I don't think he was being disingenuous with that at all. I think he was being very genuine.
They about to like try to convince his ass that it wasn't disrespectful, but it's like, it was. Just let it die. But
yeah, no, honestly, yeah. But I'm happy they squashed that. But what I do think might be potentially happening next is, it's just sometimes the way you go about like forming connections or just getting things right, when it ain't done in goodness and with grace and with love across the board, it just don't work out. But I do just feel like there's gonna be just a slight little stain on his and TT's connection because of how he went about it, and like the fact that he was able to now see himself through this, and how he developed a connection with TT with, the Anaya stuff kind of reigning in with like this negativity. So I do just wonder if there was anything that he was thinking about TT before seeing movie night, if it kind of switched a little bit after based on just him, like not necessarily anything dealing with TT per se, but the fact that like, oh yeah, maybe it was the fact that TT was kind of like lustful, that I found to be this overwhelmingly great quality to say, yes, let me lean in with TT instead of going back to Anaya. Just an assumption, but who knows.
I will say that, like, I hate to sound like a hater, but I would love to see him part from TT. I don't think the growth of like the trajectory that we want Casey to turn the corner on is going to happen with a woman like her. I think she operates as more of like an apologist for him. And so she's not going to be a woman that's going to hold a mirror to his face and say like, look, no, you got to do better, you know? And so for better or for worse, whatever people want to say about Anaya, like this experience with her has done that. And I'm not trying to say that he needs to go find another woman like Anaya. I think there could be somebody that's more compatible, but I think that there's the way what TT has shown me thus far doesn't seem genuine. Like all these Casa girls, to be honest, like we can get into that later, but this episode, I'm like, all y'all faking. Like,
yeah, no, for real.
All y'all faking. Like the greatest pretenders.
Yeah,
so
no, for real.
It's hard to see what's genuine about her, but I just don't see like him growing into who he needs to be with her. Just personally.
Yeah, no, definitely. I 100% agree with you on that. And even today, he was like, in his recoupling, he said something like, she holds me up, I want to be able to hold her up. And it's like, y'all already at this imbalance. I don't know if the playing field is gonna level, because she gonna keep trying to tout you up as much as possible, because how y'all got the connection was her pretty much just boosting your ego the entire time. So that is now the standard and expectation that has been set for how she shows up in this relationship. The other thing I was going to say was, I was wondering a little bit, does Casey still like Anaya? From their conversation, I don't know. It was given a little bit like, damn, did I fucked up with you, didn't I? Like, it just had that look a little bit to me.
I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing with Casey. I'm not sure if he liked her, if he didn't. He has bamboozled me so much, I have no clue. You get what I'm saying? I really genuinely don't know. Only God could come down and like convince me one way or the other. But what I do think that at a minimum, I think that with Anaya, the lifestyle she's lived and like what she's had access to and things like that, I think sometimes folks who don't come from that can sometimes have maybe a lack of confidence around it, or like some type of self-esteem thing, or sometimes they're trying to measure themselves up to that. I'm not trying to say that's what he's doing. I'm just trying to say that possibly that difference in lifestyle and just what she's grown up accustomed to that he hasn't may be sort of intimidating. Yeah. And it's not it should be intimidating. It shouldn't. It's like wherever you come from, it's where you come from. But sometimes people get in their own head about it. I've interacted with that sort of guy before, and they'll be like trying to prove their worth to me, and I'm like, and so I'm not trying to say that that's that, but I guess if I saw anything in terms of like, dag, it's like maybe he's looking at like, you're classy and you have all these things and there is value there, but maybe he just doesn't like her, you know what I'm saying, like sexually, or
or
but
feels like he
sees value
can't
there.
he can't compare to it or add to it. Maybe, I don't know. It could be, but I was thinking a little bit because of the way he just looked. It crossed my mind. My last thought about yesterday's episode again was just about Sincere and his villain arc. Was the fact that he also like was talking back while Melanie was talking, and I do think that the girl should have had a little bit more heat for Sincere. I still think that they didn't have as much heat for Sincere. One, just because of the pure shock of it all, but also two, I just think that it is probably easier to come for a black man than it was to go for Sincere, because there's no way Sincere shouldn't have had that same energy. Quite honestly, I think he should have had it and then some. I don't
Yeah, I
know
mean, I
why they
don't.
just left it up to Melanie to give all the energy. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
think he
still
should have had
stand where
some
I
of it.
stand with that one. Like, I do think Casey's energy. It's like a lot of different factors, and it's also like something that Chi and I were talking about yesterday that I forgot to even mention before, is that like Melanie keeps choosing this, right? And it's
Yeah.
kind of like, is she really like a victim or a willing participant? It's like, I'm not trying to say she's not a victim. She is, but it's like
She's
she's
both.
also choosing it with ample opportunities to see it and continue seeing it and continue seeing it. It's just been playing out all season. So I think there's just a lot of different factors going on with that. But let's, like, this is a perfect segue into like this episode and how the Sincere Melanie situation is being talked about between Anaya and Trinity. I'm like, girls, why
And
are
Melanie.
y'all? Yeah, but
I
like,
mean,
I
and
want to talk
Kata,
about,
or was it Kata?
no, I want Anaya and Trinity. They are telling this girl to basically go be with that man, and I'm
Yes.
like, what is happening? What is
Yes.
happening? I don't understand
Yes.
what that is about. And I don't know what that's about. I personally, like, I know people are gonna be in the comments like, oh, it's because he's not a black man. I'm not gonna put it out as not being a possible reason. I just am not gonna say it is the reason because I don't have enough evidence on that just yet. I just personally think it was whack, and I understand. Like, what are we talking about? How are we encouraging this girl to be with him after all that we've seen? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. I think it was Kata who said, what about Melanie's feelings? Um, and then, he put out the roses, and then Kata was like, I'm Team Sincere, or whatever. But I definitely was sitting there like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, Anaya is a better friend to herself than she is to Melanie.
Yeah.
Melanie is a better friend to Anaya than she is to herself.
Yeah.
Trinity is usually wise, so I'm very confused as to why she's egging this on when she knows it's unhealthy. And I'm like, y'all left Parmita, the girl who is all about lust and looks, to be like, no, actually, you deserve better, and to stand 10 toes down and say, I'm voting for you because that shit was a hot mess. And I'm like, and not Corbin getting up there to say, you lost all respect, dog. Like, you was out there cutting up. And your homegirls over here like, he has the best intentions. No, he does not.
Yeah.
No, he does not. And a well-intentioned man is not going to allow you to sleep outside after all of that BS at the very least. At the very least.
Yeah.
Not to mention, even when Melanie was, like going off or whatever, and he's sitting here talking about something, I don't even remember what he was saying, but his whole thing, even into this episode, was like, that's the past. I'm a new man. It's been 2 days. Even Casey was like, that was last week, bro. Like, you've got to be shitting me. it's a mess. And I always have to go back to, these are kids. Like, these are kids, so I don't even know what I'm supposed to like expect out of them, for real, for real. But at the very least, I'm like, Anaya, you got up there and you said, you know what, I have self-respect for myself, so I can't even do this with you. You got up there, you said, I have self-respect for myself to say, let me go and apologize for standing up in your face. I have enough self-respect to say, let's sit down and have another conversation because the last one didn't go well. And you over here telling Melanie to go back to the dude who keep dogging her out.
Yeah. It makes no sense. And one of the things that for me that stood out this episode was that, like, anybody can do romantic shit. It's like a romantic date. It doesn't matter if he flew you to Paris, like in the real life. It doesn't fix the issue. The issue on the table is his bad character. The issue on the table is that he lies. Putting out rose petals ain't fixing that, baby. You know what I'm saying? Putting out rose petals is not causing him to consider you more in his actions when there's something actually on the line. Every liar on earth can be romantic. Like, let me repeat that. Every liar on earth, every single one of them can be romantic. Romance is nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's nice, but it's literally nothing. And so the fact that we are getting giggly and googly and all these things over like rose petals, it's like that whole thing was just too much. And I felt like she was really kind of like caving and being like, oh, he did this. And it's great. It's nice that he did it. It's sweet, but it doesn't solve the problem. You still got a lying man. You still got a man who doesn't consider you. Now, I do think he's not malicious with it. I think that maybe that's what Anaya and them are trying to ration. You know, I think he wants her, and I think they realize that he wants her. And I don't think that they are wise enough yet, I guess, to recognize that shit don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes, like, I don't even like rationalizing with like, oh, but he's not a malicious person, he's a good person. It's like, this not malicious, not good. You know what I'm saying? This good, non-malicious person is out here doing this at the end of the day in full consciousness, understanding how it is going to affect the other person. And so even if this person is nice to get along with in like a friendly sense, can make you laugh, can be there for you, talk to you, you know, like Anaya and things like that, at the end of the day, he was also still capable of doing these things and not caring about the impact while he was doing it. So I don't even like using that sometimes as like a breathing room. And that's why I'm like, he is the villain. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't even matter. And then on top of that, it's not even just like a liar can be romantic. It's also, what are the patterns of behavior? He wasn't doing this romance shit before he did all the fuck shit. So why you think the romance is even going to be consistent? What's been consistent is the fuck shit. And you have to use the data that you have. Like, so romance is not the thing to like the hill that you need to die on when it comes to, oh, but he did this thing, da, 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 da. It's just like when Kayla was like, I ain't even been on one date in here. I'm like, yeah, because Zach actually ain't shit. Like, all of these men was watching last season. Them boys was pulling out picnics. Ace was doing cute shit. They was doing the yogas and all the other types of shit. So they had a little blueprint for what to do. Ain't nobody pulled none of that out this season.
Facts.
And I'm not saying like to use it as like, you know, I'm not even saying to use. I'm just saying they ain't using it. Just point up here. They ain't even doing it. They have yet to think about, let me do something sweet for these ladies. And so him pulling out them flowers, I was just like, no, they not on the oohing at this bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they are young. And like I said, not mentioning the maliciousness to bring his behavior down, but saying that I think that that's the lens through which they're viewing it. And that's why they're getting fucked up. You know what I mean? Because it's always impact that you have to pay attention to when intent is like, it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's irrelevant whether he intended to do it or not. Do we want to get into the vote thing or whatever a little bit? One of the things that I did not like about this episode or last episode is like, I feel like I can see the Casa goers more clearly now. I feel like they are all fake. Like the argument Jalen started with Caleb, it's like, girl, you want your TV time and you want to have a storyline. I don't know if her producers talk to her and be like, girl, you ain't getting no TV time. You got to have a storyline. Y'all got to have something, because that little made up thing, I'm like, you don't even like Caleb, you know? So I was glad to see her go. I wasn't even feeling Amora this episode because I was just like, you out here snitching on Jen when it's convenient for you. Wasn't a fan of that.
Yes.
And continuously talking about Melanie. It's like,
Yeah, even what she said last episode about that wouldn't be me, girl, but it was you because you watched him do that with Soul and then came in and said I want sincere. Like,
yeah. And she said
boop,
something this
boop, boop.
episode too. I can't remember what it was. I don't have it in my notes, but I was like, girl, you know.
Amora and all the Casa girls to me are just like, I hate to say it, they just kind of like non-factors, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, even like Permita's reaction last episode, all that movie night. I was like, they trying to give main character vibes, but y'all are like background. But anywho, I think the right people went home. I think knowing what
it was
we
so
know,
obvious.
Yeah, it was like expected. Anything on the votes? Any thoughts on the votes?
I just say, Kenzie, girl, you're next. Let this be a warning. You are next, girl. You're next. Like, hate to say it, but what the Islanders were saying is how America feels. So you finna be at the bottom right there with Corbin, with your lustful boo. She talking about something there full of lust. Girl, what were you? What were you?
Yeah, but I do like that she called him out. Like, it's like I like when the enemies fight each other. So, like I was happy with it. But I do when Jen went home, because we didn't address that. But like when Jen went home, I was thinking like this is damn near part Kenzie's fault, because if Kenzie was not throwing Gal no energy, right, he wouldn't have tried to uncouple just to like go kissy with her, and then all that didn't turn out to nothing. I just feel like he made a stay in this couple. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe because I feel like it added to the tension of it all, because Jenna was like, oh, so I'm bringing you in here to explore Kenzie, because Kenzie was throwing it at Gal.
Yeah.
So it definitely was part of their breakdown a little bit. Granted, Gal is Gal. And even if she was with Gal at the vote, she still would have been going home, because they was still gonna vote Gal and Jen off. You know what I'm saying? Like the vote, whoever Gal was with, Gal was going home. So
yeah,
it was gonna end up still being the same way. So but at least they would have been leaving together and not at the hand. She wouldn't have been leaving at the hands of Gal choosing to be with Amora.
Yeah, but glad his ass booted out there too. Scoot.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, it went exactly how I would have liked it. And next is Kenzie. She can go ahead and go, and I'll be all right with that.
So what are we at? 7 couples left?
Mm-hmm. They're going to do another dumping because of this vote, I'm sure. I don't know how they're going to break it up in terms of, like, are the Islanders going to vote for who stays, vote for a couple to go based on who was on the bottom, or if it's just the bottom couple is leaving, point blank period. You know, we'll see.
Do you think they're going to dump more than one couple? Because, like I said, we're getting kind of far.
Yeah, no, maybe like just one. Maybe just one to make it 6, to go back to 6 couples. And then I'm not sure. I don't know.
Because the vote of tonight will be on Sunday's episode. And then, so we'll have the results. We'll be at 6 if we only do one. And then Tuesday, and they may do one more vote. Because when we're going to do the final vote, it's too many votes in here, you know? So I think they're going to dump more than one.
Maybe we'll see. Who knows? I'm not even sure. I'm sorry, y'all. I got airplane brain. I can't even tell you. I can't even do the mental math in my head up to the 12th. But they've all finna start dropping like flies regardless, because we are getting to the end. It's going to be 4 couples left at the end for the finale. But yeah, in the last episode, y'all talked about who's going to be in Beyond the Villa. Definitely think Kenzie is gonna be in there. I think Bryce and Trinity probably gonna be in there. I think what's crazy is this season doesn't really have like an Alandria or like a PPG. It's not like a solidified. Ooh, everybody loves this 1 or 2, 3, few people. I think like they're calling them the core 4, which would be Kata, Trinity, Anaya, and Melanie. I don't know if they're at like that PPG level in terms of how the public is talking about them as a group. So I don't know. I think everybody probably got the chance, at least the OGs, to be in Beyond the Villa.
Yeah, I actually would mind. I tune in. You know what I'm saying? If they got all of them in there, Trinity, Anaya, Melanie, even Kenzie S, you know what I'm saying, Kata, all of them, I'm tuning in. And the guys, I'm tuning in.
Yeah,
I actually would like to see
good.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Yeah. Do we have anything?
Well, do you have anything else on this episode?
No, I think that's it. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Find us on TikTok and Instagram at Black Girls Talking TV, and we will catch you for the next episode. Bye.